am so angry right now.
Some people win arguments you never see. They don't raise their voice, they just disappear. But when the dust settles, they're the ones who actually have the power. You've seen this person before. In families, offices, even friendships, there's always that one person who never raises their voice. While others are shouting to be heard, they stay quiet, or simply walk away. We often label them passive, conflict avoidant. Society often assumes that silence in the face of conflict is a clear signal of weakness. But psychology shows that this behavior is far more complex than a lack of courage. It sits on a deep spectrum, ranging from learned trauma to advanced strategy. Today, we decode the mind of the person who won't argue, revealing why non-engagement is often the most profound form of strength. For many, this response is rooted in survival. Psychologists call this conflict aversion, often linked to a chaotic or abusive environment during childhood. If you learned that quiet equals safe, your brain developed a deep, visceral association. Expressing conflict equals potential danger. This is often compounded by childhood emotional neglect, SEEN, where expressing anger or setting limits was discouraged or ignored. The fear isn't of the current argument itself, but of the complete destabilization of self-worth that past conflicts caused. This is pure avoidance, and it is corrosive to relationships. Recognizing this root is the first step. If you avoid conflict out of fear for your survival, you are sacrificing clarity for temporary peace. Next, we have the highly empathetic. These individuals aren't afraid of their feelings. They are overwhelmed by yours. They possess high affective empathy, meaning they physically feel the stress, anxiety, and anger of others as if it were their own physical pain. For them, avoiding an argument is not weakness. It is an instinctive physical attempt to stop a negative sensory input they cannot filter out. They prioritize harmony not out of subservience, but because disharmony literally causes them distress and cognitive overload. They are attempting to self-regulate. Their challenge lies in distinguishing their own needs from the pain of others. They must learn to create emotional space without creating distance. This brings us to the most crucial distinction in conflict psychology: the difference between passive avoidance and strategic boundary setting. Avoidance is reacting out of fear and anxiety. It aims to prevent hurt, but paradoxically leads to more hurt and confusion because emotional needs are left unmet. Boundary setting, conversely, is proactive. It is clearly stating your emotional needs and limits. I will not engage in this discussion when voices are raised. This is the shift from a defensive trauma response, fleeing, to an assertive act of self-worth, defining terms. The person who avoids conflict out of strength is not silent. They choose to communicate only when the environment is conducive to resolution. Now we address the highest level of non-engagement, the strategic mind, driven by efficiency and logic. They are the energy savers. These individuals possess a high, internal locus of control, meaning they focus their energy only on things they can directly influence. From a psychological perspective, engaging in a complex, emotional argument constitutes high cognitive load. Strategic non-arguers understand that productive resolution requires a low cognitive load environment to allow for enhanced attention and working memory. They recognize that attempting to solve a large, emotional problem space, while angry, is inefficient multitasking, guaranteed to exhaust resources. They also possess the advanced discernment to recognize arguments that are structurally futile, those based on fundamental value misalignment. If one person highly values security and the other highly values openness to change, their conflict over a major life decision is fundamentally unsolvable through logic. The strategic person recognizes that fighting over values is pointless. They disengage with dignity, accepting the difference rather than forcing alignment. They understand a profound truth. Most arguments are not about finding a solution. They are about one person's ego needing external validation, the need to be right. The person who walks away has simply decided their internal peace is more valuable than your external validation. They have won the internal battle of discipline. This is the essence of true emotional maturity, not the inability to fight, but the wisdom to choose your battles carefully and to protect your most critical resource, your attention. They do not lose the argument, they transcend it. This is not passivity, it is emotional discipline. This is the profound realization that the only victory that matters is maintaining one's integrity and preserving the self-trust required to thrive. Next time you encounter someone who refuses to raise their voice, pause before labeling them weak. Ask yourself, are they operating from a place of fear or from a place of deep, strategic, and disciplined self-regard? Do you recognize this strategic mindset? Share your thoughts below on the discipline of non-engagement. Subscribe for more psychological insights into emotional strength, self-discipline, and finding peace amid the chaos.